Imagine holding the key to complete freedom, a life where no one else's opinion dictates your choices, where fear of rejection vanishes, and your inner peace is unbreakable. Yet, in the world around you, people are always attempting to shape your decisions, distract you, and divert you from your true path. How would you manage this pressure? This is where the wisdom of Buddha comes in. Buddha offers a path to rise above the noise around you, unlocking your true power by focusing solely on yourself. Today, we'll explore 14 powerful Buddhist lessons that reveal how to release the hold of others' opinions and take control of your life. 1. Stop relying on others for your happiness. As Buddha once taught, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This teaching reminds us that true happiness doesn't stem from what others say or do. It comes from within ourselves. When we rely on others for happiness, whether through their approval, praise, or actions, we hand over control of our emotions to them. This dependence often leads to disappointment, as no one can make us happy all the time. Buddhism encourages us to look inward for peace and fulfillment. This means becoming comfortable with who we are, finding joy in the present moment, and cultivating gratitude for what we already have. By practicing self-reliance, we create a foundation of inner peace that cannot be taken away by anyone else. 2. Don't fear being alone. It's where you find true power. Buddha said, meditate, live purely, be quiet, do your work with mastery. This wisdom teaches us that solitude is not something to fear. Rather, it's a space of strength. When we spend time alone, we gain the clarity to truly understand ourselves, reflect on our thoughts, and grow emotionally and spiritually. Solitude gives us the opportunity to meditate and focus on personal development without external distractions. Rather than depending on others for comfort or validation, we learn to be our own best companion. Embracing solitude allows us to discover inner power and wisdom, helping us navigate life with confidence and clarity. 3. Stop seeking approval from everyone. As Buddha wisely said, you, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. This reminds us that the approval we truly need is our own, not anyone else's. When we constantly seek validation from others, whether through compliments, praise, or acceptance, we lose touch with our own self-worth and allow others to dictate our feelings about ourselves. Buddhism teaches us that true confidence and happiness arise from self-acceptance. You don't need external opinions to feel good about who you are. Instead, practice offering yourself the love, kindness, and validation you deserve. The more you approve of yourself, the less dependent you'll be on others for validation, freeing yourself from unnecessary stress and disappointment. 4. Don't let rejection define you. Rejection is a natural part of life, yet it doesn't determine your worth. It's easy to feel discouraged or inadequate when facing rejection, but Buddhism encourages us to view it differently. Instead of seeing rejection as failure, consider it a chance for growth and redirection. At times, rejection is simply life's way of steering you towards something better. As Buddha wisely said, in the end, only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. This reminder teaches us that letting go with grace is essential for finding peace. When you stop taking rejection personally, you release yourself from unnecessary pain and create space for new opportunities. Embrace the lesson, move forward, and trust that rejection is merely a stepping stone on your journey. 5. Release the fear of what others think of you. One of the most common sources of anxiety is the worry over what others might think. We often allow other people's opinions to shape our actions and feelings, but Buddhism teaches that others' judgments are more about them than us. What truly matters is how you view yourself and your actions. As Buddha said, let none find fault with others. Let none see the omissions and commissions of others, but let one see one's own acts, done and undone. This wisdom urges us to focus on our own path and let go of concerns about others' opinions. People's judgments are beyond your control, and constantly fearing their assessment only drains your energy. When you let go of this fear, You find freedom and peace in embracing your authentic self. 6. Don't sacrifice your peace to please others. Many of us fall into the habit of trying to please everyone around us. Whether at work, with friends, or within our families, we often go out of our way to make others happy, frequently at the expense of our own peace and well-being. Yet, no matter how hard you try, it's impossible to please everyone. And this constant effort only leads to exhaustion and stress. As Buddha wisely taught, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. This teaching highlights that peace of mind is far more valuable than trying to fulfill everyone's expectations. Buddhism encourages us to act with compassion and kindness, but not at the cost of our inner tranquility. There is a balance to be found. While it's good to help others, don't allow their needs to dominate your life. Setting boundaries and saying no when necessary is perfectly acceptable. When you prioritize your own peace, you can live more authentically and give from a place of strength rather than sacrifice. The more you focus on keeping your mind calm and centered, the less you'll feel the need to constantly seek approval or please others. True contentment arises from within, and when you honor your peace, you bring greater harmony into your life and relationships. 7. Focus on what you can control. In life, frustration and disappointment often arise when we try to control things that are beyond our reach. We wish for people to act a certain way, for situations to unfold exactly as planned, and for outcomes to match our expectations. However, a central teaching of Buddhism reminds us that holding on to things outside our control only leads to suffering. The reality is that you cannot dictate others' behavior, emotions, or thoughts. The only true power you have is over yourself, your actions, thoughts, and reactions. As Buddha said, "Rule your mind or it will rule you." This simple yet profound insight emphasizes the power of our minds. When we concentrate on mastering our thoughts and emotions, we gain control over our lives. Rather than wasting energy attempting to change others or control situations, redirect that energy inward. Ask yourself, how can I respond more effectively? How can I improve myself? How can I find peace even when the world around me feels chaotic? By focusing on what you can control, your mind, habits, and responses, you build resilience. External events, whether positive or negative, lose their power to disturb your inner peace. Imagine the freedom that arises when you no longer feel the need to control everything around you. The moment you accept that others' actions are beyond your responsibility, you reclaim your power. This shift in perspective brings a calmer, more contented life. You become less reactive and more intentional, making choices rooted in inner stability rather than stress or anxiety. This path leads to true freedom and self-mastery, allowing you to remain at peace regardless of what happens around you. By focusing inward, you create a life where external chaos cannot disturb your calm. You also stop relying on the unpredictable actions of others to find happiness. As you focus on maintaining balance and mindfulness, regardless of circumstances, you'll find that your inner peace strengthens. Over time, this focus on self-mastery can even inspire those around you. Your calmness becomes contagious. Others may notice your strength and resilience, encouraging them to reflect on their own choices. This practice isn't about ignoring the world or detaching from others. Rather, it's about understanding that your energy is best invested in what you can change within yourself. When you master your reactions and mindset, external challenges no longer have the power to shake your foundation. This is where true power resides. 8. Realize that people are focused on their own lives. We often believe that others are constantly watching and judging us, but the reality is much simpler. Most people are too absorbed in their own lives to focus on us. This understanding can be incredibly freeing. Fear of judgment is one of the main reasons we hold back from being our authentic selves. Whether it's concerns about how we dress, speak, or act, we assume that others are scrutinizing every detail. However, Buddhism encourages us to release this unnecessary burden and live with greater freedom. As Buddha taught, your work is to discover your world, and then with all your heart, give yourself to it. This teaching reminds us that each person has a unique journey to follow. People are mostly concerned with their own challenges, goals, and dreams. Instead of worrying about what others might think, focus on discovering your path and living it fully. Realizing that people are not thinking about you as much as you believe can lift a tremendous weight off your shoulders. No longer wasting energy trying to meet others' expectations allows you to direct that energy toward becoming the best version of yourself. Reflect on how often you worry about others' opinions compared to the time spent on your own goals and challenges. The truth is, like you, most people are preoccupied with their own lives. They have their own dreams, insecurities, and worries, leaving little time to focus on you. This awareness gives you the freedom to be genuine, make decisions that feel right for you, and pursue your passions without the weight of outside judgment. Buddhism encourages non-attachment not only to material possessions, but also to others' opinions. Releasing yourself from the need for external approval allows you to live more authentically. Rather than living in fear of others' thoughts, focus on your own growth. This mindset shift leads to greater confidence and inner peace, as you're no longer a prisoner to others' judgments. It's also essential to recognize that everyone faces their own battles. Just as you struggle with your own thoughts and emotions, others are dealing with their issues. Understanding this builds empathy and makes it easier to let go of the fear of judgment. People aren't judging you because they're too busy navigating their own struggles. By focusing less on what others think and more on your personal development, you'll notice a newfound sense of freedom. You'll feel lighter, more empowered, and more in control of your own destiny. 9. Embrace the freedom of living authentically. It's a powerful realization. You don't need to worry about how others perceive you because they are often too focused on their own lives. Living authentically, free from the fear of judgment, unlocks your true potential. You'll take more risks, pursue what genuinely brings you joy, and live with a renewed sense of purpose. Remember, the world is vast, and life is far too short to live in the shadows of what others may or may not be thinking. Focus on discovering and dedicating yourself to your own purpose. Letting go of the need for validation and fear of judgment creates space for self-discovery. This approach leads to a stronger connection with yourself and a deeper understanding of what truly matters in your life. The less you worry about others' opinions, the more you can focus on what brings you peace, fulfillment, and contentment. Avoid falling into the trap of social comparison. 10. Avoid the trap of comparison. One of the biggest pitfalls in life is comparing ourselves to others. Whether it's appearances, careers, success, or even happiness, this habit often leads to envy, inadequacy, and frustration. Buddhism teaches that comparison is a form of attachment that brings suffering. By constantly measuring yourself against others, you lose sight of your own unique journey and the progress you've made along the way. As Buddha said, health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship. This wisdom reminds us that true wealth is found not in having more or being better than others, but in experiencing contentment. When you are content with who you are and what you have, you find inner peace. Social comparison, however, shifts your mindset to one of scarcity, focusing on what you lack rather than appreciating what you already possess. In today's world, social media amplifies the temptation to compare. Scrolling through feeds of perfect vacations, luxurious lifestyles, and success stories can make us feel like we're falling behind. But these images rarely show the reality, the struggles, insecurities, and challenges others also face. Each person's journey is unique, and comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel often leads to unhappiness. Buddhism encourages us to live in the present and cultivate gratitude for our lives. Rather than looking outward at others, turn inward and focus on your own growth. When you practice mindfulness and gratitude, you become more aware of the blessings in your life and the progress you've made. The more you appreciate what you have, the less you feel the need to compare yourself to others. Comparison often fosters a sense of competition, breeding jealousy and resentment. In Buddhism, such emotions are seen as harmful, clouding the mind and pulling us away from peace. Constantly competing with others prevents genuine satisfaction, robbing us of the joy that comes from living authentically. Recognize that everyone's path is unique. The success of others does not diminish your own progress or potential. 11. Embrace right livelihood and live with authenticity. A key Buddhist principle, right livelihood, encourages living in a way that fosters harmony and balance. This balance includes recognizing that your life does not need to mirror someone else's to be fulfilling. When you stop comparing yourself to others and live in alignment with your own values and goals, true contentment emerges. Your self-worth no longer depends on external standards or achievements, but is instead rooted in inner peace and self-acceptance. Social comparison can pull you away from what genuinely matters, sometimes leading you to pursue goals or possessions simply because you see others doing the same. However, Buddhism reminds us that true happiness is not found in external achievements, but in understanding and following your unique path. Chasing what others have can lead you away from what holds real meaning for you. By practicing non-attachment, you can break free from the cycle of comparison. This doesn't mean abandoning goals or the desire for success. Rather, it's about realizing that your value isn't tied to surpassing others. Your worth comes from being true to yourself and your journey. Understanding this releases you from the constant pressure to measure up to others, allowing you to focus on what genuinely brings you joy and fulfillment. Consider, too, how comparison often robs you of time and energy. The time spent thinking about someone else's achievements or lifestyle is time that could be dedicated to your own growth and well-being. Instead of envying others, ask yourself how you can enhance your life in ways that feel meaningful to you. By focusing on your own progress, you'll begin to see how far you've come and what you're capable of achieving, building confidence and self-respect along the way. Remember, life isn't a race. Each of us has a unique timeline, with our own challenges and lessons. What matters isn't how you compare to others, but how true you are to your own path. When you stop comparing and start focusing on your journey, you'll find peace and fulfillment that no external achievement can match. 12. Prioritize inner growth over external validation. In today's world, we are often conditioned to seek validation from outside sources. Whether it's approval from family, recognition at work, or likes on social media, we frequently look to others to feel good about ourselves. However, Buddhism teaches that true peace and fulfillment come from within. The more we chase validation from others, the more we drift away from our authentic selves. Relying on others' perceptions makes our self-worth fragile, creating a cycle of dissatisfaction and insecurity. As Buddha wisely said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." This insight emphasizes the importance of your inner world. When you focus on personal growth, mindset, and self-awareness, you become stronger and more at peace. In contrast, if you constantly seek approval from others, you become trapped in their opinions, losing touch with your own sense of self. By prioritizing your inner growth over external validation, you lay the foundation for a more fulfilling and resilient life, where you are no longer bound by the need for approval. Instead, you find strength in being true to yourself and embracing your journey. 13. Cultivate inner growth over external validation. In Buddhism, the path to enlightenment is deeply rooted in self-awareness, mindfulness, and inner transformation. By focusing on your inner growth, you cultivate a fulfillment that external validation can never provide. Seeking validation from others is often tied to the ego, the part of us that craves attention, recognition, and status. However, the ego is insatiable. No matter how much approval you receive, the ego will always want more, creating an endless pursuit that ultimately leaves you feeling unfulfilled. Buddhism encourages transcending the ego by turning inward and seeking fulfillment through self-awareness, mindfulness, and compassion. The more you focus on inner growth, the less control the ego has over you. When you prioritize inner development, you realize that your worth is not based on others' perceptions but on your values, integrity, and personal growth. Success, then, is measured not by external achievements but by personal progress. Are you more patient, compassionate, and mindful than before? These are the genuine markers of growth, and they come from within. External validation, on the other hand, is fleeting. Approval can vanish as quickly as it arrives, leaving you in constant pursuit of the next source. Focusing on inner growth builds resilience as well. When self-worth depends on external validation, you become vulnerable to others' opinions and judgments. A single criticism or rejection can undermine your confidence, but grounding your self-worth in personal development makes you more resilient to life's challenges. Knowing who you are means you don't need others to affirm your value. This inner strength is one of the greatest rewards of prioritizing your own growth. Choosing inner growth over external validation leads to a peaceful and authentic life. When you stop concerning yourself with others' opinions, you gain the freedom to live by your own values and desires. The pressure to fit into others' expectations fades, and instead, you live a life true to who you are. This authenticity brings inner peace and attracts deeper, more meaningful relationships. People are naturally drawn to those who are comfortable with themselves and live with integrity. Buddhism teaches impermanence, the understanding that everything in life is temporary and constantly evolving. External validation is part of this impermanence. The praise you receive today may be gone tomorrow. Chasing something so unstable only leads to frustration and anxiety. Inner growth, however, is lasting and cannot be taken from you. The wisdom, self-awareness, and emotional resilience you develop through personal growth remain with you throughout your life. Another essential Buddhist concept is equanimity, which involves maintaining mental calmness and emotional balance, regardless of external circumstances. 14. Cultivate equanimity through inner growth. When you focus on inner growth, you cultivate a state of equanimity, becoming less reactive to both praise and criticism. This is because your sense of self-worth is no longer dependent on what others think, but is rooted in your inner peace and self-awareness. This emotional balance enables you to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and confidence. Focusing on inner growth doesn't mean ignoring the world or other people. Instead, it's about recognizing that the most important work you can do is within yourself. By prioritizing your personal development, you naturally become a better friend, partner, and community member. You bring more compassion, patience, and wisdom to your relationships, inspiring others to focus on their own growth. Inner growth is far from a selfish endeavor. It is the foundation for a more harmonious and fulfilling life, both for you and for those around you. When you prioritize inner growth, you open the door to genuine happiness. External validation may offer fleeting pleasure, but it is always temporary and dependent on others. Inner growth, however, brings enduring joy and fulfillment, grounded in your efforts and self-awareness. You no longer need to rely on others' opinions to feel good about yourself, and this freedom is incredibly empowering. The moment you release the need for external approval, you unlock your true potential and embrace a life of self-empowerment. Let go of external expectations and direct your focus to your journey. Remember, true power comes from within. Thank you for watching. If you found value in these lessons, please like, share, and subscribe for more insights.